Well, greetings, everyone. We are here again for another live stream of Candid Conversations with Chenille. I hope that you were able to join us for our last episode. It's complicated. Which piece are you giving up? I want to encourage you, if you have not had an opportunity, to please go back and watch that live stream. I guarantee you it is going to be a blessing for you. But tonight is loaded as well. We have another topic of conversation that's real, raw, and it's definitely going to be relevant to where you are. Our topic tonight is invisible connections, uncovering the common thread. I know that your minds are already wondering, what am I going to be talking about tonight? We're going to take a deeper look at our connections and how our connections affect us. And who is it and what is it that we're really connected to? And so, because this live stream is so loaded, I want to go ahead and jump right in. So, first, it's going to be important that we look at a few words. And the words that are standing out is invisible. So, invisible, something that is not readily seen with the naked eye. You cannot even sense it. But even more, invisible means it is the absence of visibility, the inability to detect something by ordinary means. And then we have connections. Those are the relationships or associations between people, ideas, things, or events. It indicates a linking or bonding that enables, check this out, communication, interactions, or influence. And then we want to look at the word common. Common is something that is shared or widely encountered by a group of people or things, a quality or characteristic that is ordinary, prevalent, or familiar to many individuals. And finally, we want to look at the thread from a metaphorical point of view. It is a connecting or continuous line of thought, conversation, or actions. So you can tell by our topic as well as the meaning of those definitions that this conversation, again, is going to be loaded. So there are 7 things that I've identified as common threads. Now, I want to go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. Initially, I had hoped that we would be able to cover all 7 tonight. But after reviewing and studying and looking at this a little bit deeper, we're not going to be able to cover all 7 tonight. But don't you fret. We'll definitely do a continuation of some of the other common threads. But tonight, the one that we want to look at is the commonality of deception. That's powerful by itself. And so, one of the things that I wanted to do, I have an example for us, is when I thought about this particular topic, it was likened to that of a spider to me. And so I noted something very interesting about the spider. Spiders, of course, have legs, but those legs are used to walk, climb, and to capture prey. Remember, we're talking about the common thread. They also have small structures on their bodies that produce silk. That silk is used to build webs, shelters, and capture prey. Do you hear the common word there? Capture prey. Spiders have fangs which they inject venom into its prey. Interestingly, in studying spiders, I found out that they have multiple eyes. We have two, but spiders have multiple eyes that allows them to see in many different directions. Another interesting fact is spiders undergo what's called a molting process. This is where they increase in size so that they're able to repair damaged parts to their body. Oh my goodness. They increase in size so they can repair damaged parts. Why are they repairing these damaged parts? So they can continue to prey and to build webs. All right. Another thing, they have sensory organs. These organs allow them to perceive what is in their surroundings. But interestingly, when I talked about invisible connections, it stated that those things are not visible. They have no visibility. But spiders have sensory organs that allow them to detect what's in their surroundings. They can locate prey even by vibrations. So when I thought about this, I thought about how we start with this. And remember, I'm talking about the common thread. And so a lot of times in our lives, we start here. And if you can notice, there are two spiders in this web. And so what happens is we typically give someone something to work with. And even if we're not giving them something to work with, it's what we're working with on our own. Because as we go through life, we tend to accumulate a little bit of web. And so this consists of some of those invisible connections that we don't even realize that are now a part of our lives. And so when we look at deception, how in the world do we get entangled in deception, especially if we're not persons that are considered deceptive? This is going to be good, and it is definitely going to be enlightening. A lot of times people are drawn to people that practice deception. Deception is definitely a part of this web. Most of the time, deceptive people are very charming and they have charisma. You would not pin them to be deceptive because most of the time their actions are that of charm, is that of charisma appeal. They have an appeal. They have a way of persuading you. They have a way of drawing you in. And so a lot of times we would think that we're only drawn to people who are like us. But no, there are many times that we're drawn to people who are not like us. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. But deceptive people, they're charming. They have charisma. They can persuade. They know how to talk. They know how to make you feel. They know how to persuade you, how to get you to move from one way of thinking to another way of thinking. And I don't want to jump ahead because we're going to look at some of the actions that are displayed by individuals who are deceptive. And then we're going to look at how is it that we connect with those persons that tend to be deceptive, and now they're a part of our common thread. Another thing is perceived similarities. We see something in them that 9 times out of 10 is in us as well. Whether it's our shared interest, our backgrounds, our experiences, there is a connection between us and that person that we deem as deceptive. The thing I want to say about deception is deception happens across many different channels. A lot of times we think that deception happens, it may happen in our workplace. We may know family members that are being deceptive. We may know friends that are being deceptive, but deception happens across all channels, whether it's workplace, whether it's home, whether it's church, whether it's our social activities, our civic activities. Deception is prevalent. And believe it or not, we're connected many times when we don't realize and we don't understand the power of deception. We'll be connected to deception by default. And now this too has become a part of our common thread. Why are we drawn to it? Number 3, a desire for validation. We want to be validated. And isn't that funny that we'll choose unknowingly somebody that is deceptive to validate us? You know why? Because it seems that that person who is deceptive has it all together. After all, most of the time, not all of the time, deceptive people may be outgoing, they may be full of energy, they may be likable, they may be lovable. And so a lot of times we look to those types of persons because we want to be validated. I want to stretch out and say this. If we're not careful, we'll desire to be just like that person, not understanding the root of what is going on within a deceptive person. Because most times people love people who are deceptive. Deceptive people are really good at hiding who they really are. Most of the times they're very cunning, very manipulative. Another thing, our vulnerability and neediness. When we are vulnerable and when we are needy, we tend to latch onto persons who exhibit deception. Again, we want to be validated by those persons because it appears that everybody likes them and everybody loves them, not understanding the danger that is hiding, that is lurking within deception. When we look at our web and we get entangled with persons who are deceptive, this is what happens. As you can see, the small cobwebs that we have now increased in size. Why has it increased? Look at the different faces that are there. Because most of the times when we're dealing with persons who are deceptive, and now that has become one of our common threads, we forget who we are. And now we have all different types of faces going in all different types of directions. And what we see here, we see spiders visible on the outside, but we don't see what's behind this cobweb. We don't understand that spiders are able to build without being seen. How many of us have just had the opportunity to sit and watch spiders build? Most of the time, when we come out the door, when we look in our window, the cobweb is already there. Am I right about it? Most times we do not see when the building took place. We don't even understand when the cobwebs began to occur in our lives. I came to tell you tonight that when we give somebody a little to work with, it becomes this. And even when you don't, let me stick a pin in this. Even when you don't give people something to work with knowingly, we talked about how the spider is able to detect. You don't always have to give people permission to thread in your life. If they see the loose ends, it's enough for them to work with. Start like this. And after a while, we're here. Notice we've lost where there were 4, we've lost 2. Because the more that common thread of deception is in our life, we begin to lose who we are. Another thing, we're drawn to deception because of fear of confrontation. Yes, I said that. What do I mean by that? A lot of times when we're afraid to confront certain behaviors in persons, we overlook it and we act as if we don't see what is happening or what is being done. You know, deceptive people will back you down. Oh my God, that's good right there. Somebody who is deceptive, they will back you right in a corner, or they'll sense that you're a scaredy cat. And no, all they have to do is show up and we'll back down. I want you to take a moment and just peruse and think about how many times have you backed down from somebody that was operating in deception? How many times have you saved face because you didn't want to confront the deception? But whether you confronted it or not, it has now become a common thread in your life. Deceptive people will force their way on your web. Deceptive people will spin a web without your permission. Deceptive people will barge in your life and bring baggage to stay. Check these out. Loss. These are hindrances. These are hindrances. So when a deceptive person shows up, they're showing up to stay. And they're showing up most of the times without your permission. And they're showing up at a time you don't even know that they're spinning. You don't even know that they're making the way up because they've detected. They've detected that you have something that they can work with. A spider cannot spin a web without something to work with. Whether that spider has to be the initiator, because mind you, remember I said that that spider has the ability to make silk. So whether that spider has to initiate it or whether something is already there, we give that spider, that deceptive person, something to work with. And from what we give them to work with, how many of us know that with a spider, most of the time when you see a spider do a web on a tree, 9 times out of 10, it's a big web. And most of the time, you don't even see that web until your hand gets tangled up in it. And when you put your hand in that cobweb, what do? Oh, we snatch it back. What happens to your hand when it goes into that cobweb? When you sling that cobweb, does that cobweb come off your hand? No. You have to sit there and pull and even roll that cobweb so it'll come off of your hands. And a lot of times what I do is I roll all the way from the arms up, because isn't it funny that when you get caught in a cobweb, it seems like that thing is all the way up. And even after you get the cobweb off of you, how many of us can say that it still feel like the cobweb is on us? And even when you go in the house, I'm doing this because I feel like the cobweb is all on my clothes. I'm rolling because if there's a cobweb, there just might be a spider who hasn't finished spinning that web. There might be a spider who has renewed itself so that it's able to continue to build. Remember, I said earlier that a spider is able to repair the damage that's been done. So what that tells me is it's not easy to get rid of a deceptive person. It's not easy to get rid of somebody that's deceptive. Another thing is we're drawn to deceptive people, a sense of thrill or excitement. Now, how crazy is that? How crazy is that? Most of the time, we love to be around deceptive people because they're exciting. They bring a certain level of thrill. Let me be honest with you. Let me tell you what that is. They're doing something that deep down you want to do it too. But you just don't have the courage to do it. But because of that charisma that's possessed, we will secretly admire somebody that is deceptive. We'll admire them while envying them and being sick of them all at the same time. Now, you tell me, how wild is that? Sense of thrill and excitement. It doesn't matter how much we sin and say, no, Now, no, they'll not do that. There's something in us when we're drawn to a deceptive person that we love what they're doing. We're just not bold enough to do it. We love it while hating it all at the same time. Deceptive people, when we talk about that thrill, they bring that boring side of us. Yeah, it touches that boring side of us. It touches that side of us that want to be in the light. That side of us that wants people to see us. And so we're drawn, even if it's secretly, to that person who is deceptive. Again, a common thread. Isolation and loneliness will draw us to deceptive people. People who are isolated and lonely, they are drawn to them for companionship. Oh my God, that's deep. When you're isolated and you're lonely, you'll be drawn to somebody that's deceptive because you want a companion. You want friendship. But most of all, you want connection. Oh my God. That's good right there. That's good right there. Isolation and loneliness will put you in positions for companionship, friendships, connections. And so you're drawn to persons that you know are deceptive. And you know what is easy to do to justify it? That's them. I'm nothing like that. I see you. That's them. I'm nothing like that. But that loneliness, that isolation, it gets the best of us. And so we find ourselves putting up with deception so that we can extract out of it what we need. Oh my God. Oh my God. Deceptive people, I feel like, are good readers of others. They know who to connect to. They know the conversations to be had. They know what to say. They know when to say it. They know how to say it. They know how much of it to say. Because again, remember we said that deceptive people are charismatic people. And so with charismatic people, you're drawn. It's something about their appeal, that charisma, it draws you in. It weaves that web. It entangles you. It pulls you in and renders you merciless. It takes your voice. Oh my God, I'm talking good. It takes your voice. It shapes, it molds who you are. It shapes and molds how you're going to act. Oh, let me tell you something. Sometimes deceptive people will bring out of you what's in you. It may not be to that degree, but it's something that's lying in you that a deceptive person will wake up. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Deception will wake up in you something that's just a little sleepy. It ain't sleep all the way. It's just waiting to be woke up. And here is the thing. Deception wakes that thing. You have an ear for it. Oh my God. You might not see the deception, but you'll hear out of it what you need to hear out of it to activate, to come alive. Oh, that's good right there. And a lot of times we look at the deceptive person as being the person that is the bad person. They bring this out of me. No, sir. No, ma'am. I would say it's already in you. They just spun the web for us to know what was already in you. Let's go a little bit further with this. Ignorance and being naive. When you're unaware of the persons that's in your surrounding, then you're going to get caught up in the web. You're going to have a common thread. Because unfortunately, naiveness is not an excuse. Naiveness, it does not excuse us from understanding where our common threads are. Okay, let's go on. Last time I ran out of time, so I want to move through this so we can get through some of these. So let's look at, okay, so how do we know? How can I tell when somebody is being deceptive? Here are some traits of deceptive people. Let me warn you, some of these are kind of punch in the stomach type of things. Deceptive people, manipulative, very manipulative. What does that look like? They lie a lot. Manipulative people tend to lie a lot. They use gaslighting. Gaslighting is really a form of psychological abuse where they cause you to question what you're seeing and what you know. It'll cause you to question your sanity, memories, things that you know to be true. When people are manipulative, they do all that guilt tripping stuff because they want you to feel guilty to either stop recognizing their actions and their behavior or to cause you to feel guilty to force you to do something that they are wanting you to do. I believe that that's the number one trait of a deceptive person. They are very manipulative. They lie a lot. They always gonna throw shade. They're always going to be pushing their own agenda. Manipulative, determined to get their way by any means necessary. Deceptive people are charming and charismatic. That is a trait. We talked about it earlier, but that's also a trait. They are such smooth talkers. They are very strategic in moving and planning themselves in the right positions at the right times, just like that spider. And most of the time, you never see them moving and you never see them building that web. And when they build a web and you try to tear it down, what did we talk about earlier? They get bigger. When they get damaged, oh my God, they repair themselves so they can continue to spin webs in your life. That charisma, that appeal draws you in. It pulls you in so it's hard for you to believe that they lying. Oh my God. Y'all have to walk with me right here because it is imperative that you understand if there is a common thread of deception. Is that one of your common threads that you have with the deceptor? Again, pathological liars, compulsive liars, obsessive liars, by any means necessary liars. Deceptive people will fabricate stories. They will over exaggerate. They will lie on others. They will turn others against others. Oh my God. And in that lying, the whole point is to advance their agenda. They will hurt whoever to advance their agenda. That advancement comes through lies most of the times. Lies is one of the number one factors. Whatever a pathological liar has to do to convince you that they're trustworthy, by all means, they are going to do it. And I'm going to put a pin in this. It's not just outside of the church, it's inside the house of God that people will spin webs. People will lie on others to promote their own agenda. You have to be discerning. You have, not only does the person that's being lied on, do they need to be discerning, but the person that's being lied to needs to be discerning. Because at the end of the day, people who are deceptive will do anything. And I literally mean anything. If it means faking suicide, faking, oh my God, sickness, faking whatever it is designed to draw you in, to make you feel sympathetic, to be a connection. Because deceptive people will connect with you whether you want them to or not. They will give the appearance that you're connected with them. Oh my God. People who want recognition, people who want to be seen as somebody, will have no limits to how far they will go to weave you into this web, to become a common thread in your life. That's family, that's friends, that's associates, that's co-workers, that in situations, certain things, I just say it can be anybody. It can be your mama. It can be your daddy. It can be your cousin. And I know that's tight, and I know because that's going to challenge you because of love. But love doesn't excuse deception. And there's a way to handle deception and still love. But deception does not have to be one of our common threads, something that we're drawn to. Deceptors, people who are deceptive, lack empathy, all while acting like they have it. Let me tell you one key of a deceptive person. They'll act like everything about somebody else. I love this one. I love this. I love that. This, that, and third, da, da, da. All you have to do is look at their priorities. And at the end of the day, with the deceptive person, pay attention. They'll always land on top. because they force their way. They make their way. They force people to buy into whatever it is that they're doing. Deceptive people are such manipulators that they will make you feel like what they're doing is right. Oh my God. Deceptive people will change your sight because they can be so manipulative. Remember, with the gaslighting, that they'll cause you to believe something that's not even there, that's not even true. A lot of times, deceptive people throw emphasis on other people to hide who they really are. That's something else, right? Deceptive people are narcissistic. They feel entitled. They feel like they're untouchable. And they feel like they're superior. Don't nobody tell me. I tell everybody else, but don't nobody else tell me. They feel entitled to whatever anybody else has. They feel like they're entitled and they should be a part of your life. Oh my God. They should be a common thread. They have this secretive behavior, their actions, their intentions, their motives. They move on a down low. Most of the time, deceptive people spend their time trying to expose somebody else while the whole time they're weaving webs. Not only are they weaving webs in that person's life, they're weaving webs in the person's life that they're talking to. Deception. Deceptive people blame shift. It's always somebody else. You know, people like that, it's never them. It's always somebody else. Deceptive people refuse to take responsibility for their actions and for their behavior. They're always giving pseudo praise, overdo it, flattery, compliments, praises. Deceptive people. And last, they lack remorse. Out of their mouth, they may say they're sorry, but they steady spinning webs. They're not sorry about anything that they've done. They're sorry that you found out, but their idea, I'll do it better next time. But even when you find out, deceptive people will not admit their wrongs. Now, look at my time, 10 minutes. Oh. Why is this connection harmful to you? And why must you understand when there is a common thread of deception? Because if not, you run the risk of being exploited. They'll exploit you for their benefit. Deceptive people have a way of doing things and making it look like it was you the whole entire time. Oh my God. I would love to dive a little bit deeper into that with situations that have occurred with me personally, but I won't touch it. But people have a way of doing things, setting certain scenarios, and making it look like it was you the whole entire time. It was them. Remember, I said deceptive people can fabricate stories. Deceptive people can create this picture and make it look like something that it's not. Because after all, it's going to be a lie or a half truth told in there somewhere. Why do you have to know and why must you understand? Because deceptive people will cause a loss of trust. Let me punch you in the stomach with this one. 9 times out of 10, we're not going to lose trust in the deceptor. We're going to lose trust in the one that they have lied on. That's crazy, right? We will allow somebody that's deceptive to wear us down. We'll listen to garbage, gossip, trash, junk. We'll take all of that into our spirit. And then when we lose trust in somebody, we've lost trust in the one that was lied on. But that was the idea of the enemy anyway, because that was the only way that that connection could remain in your life. Oh my God. To discredit somebody else. And now, let me go on. Emotional distress, confusion, anxiety, self-doubt, all perpetrated by somebody who's deceptive. Damaged reputation. Now, your reputation is at stake because remember when I said when we don't identify that common thread and we don't have the courage to stand up to somebody that's deceptive, now it damages our reputation. When we go on and act like we don't know what's being done to save face, oh my God. When we have that, I just didn't say nothing. If a deceptor is bringing you something that's crazy, that's gossip, that's lies, at least have the courage to say, well, let's go talk to so-and-so too. Because people only have an opportunity to lie like they do most of the time because they know the person that they're lying to is weak in some kind of way. And they know that they're not going to say anything. They know that they're going to just let them. You know what we do? We chop it up. Child, you know they always saying that. You know they always doing that. Yep. They're saying it and doing it. But we looking like this. While they saying it and doing it, we're looking just like this. Because we're afraid. Listen, you don't have to allow it. You don't have to allow deception to be a common thread. Even if you're not carrying the deception, you don't have to be attached to it. Okay? Deceptive people cause isolation and alienation. What does that mean? They try to separate you from everybody so that it can just be you and them. Oh, that's good. That's good right there. I've seen that in so many, oh my God, in so many different arenas. I've seen it in the workplace where co-workers will sit and sow discord. I've seen it where church, I'm going to say a long, long time ago, where you have people that will sit and talk about somebody and run that person down. Like my kids say, whole time wanting to be the one that's right up under that person. So they sit and they sow discord while forcing their way into what they deem as certain circles. And then those that are deceptive tend to leave some type of psychological trauma. Invisible connections, uncovering the common thread. I want to ask you, is deception a part of your common thread? Even if you're not the perpetrator of deception, if you're allowing it, and it has become a part of your common thread, I submit to you that there's still some weaving happening. And it's not going to be easy for you to get rid of this common thread. Beloved, it is so important that we understand who we're connected to and why we're connected to them. It is not an excuse to be connected, to have a common thread, just because you're afraid to say something. Well, that's it for Candid Conversations with Chenille. I want to invite you to join me next month as we continue our discussion and uncover those common threads that may be invisible to you, but very visible in your web. That's it. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do me a favor and go like and subscribe and share Candid Conversations with Chenille, where our conversations are always candid. Good night. I love you.